environment coexist?
So that's one of the questions which one of the students have asked, that he wants to know that what Mr. Bachchan thinks about if technology and clean environment can coexist. I'll just take in one more question, and then if we can have answers from Mr. Bachchan. Yes, please. Just give us your name and what is the question you want to ask him.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Aryan Panikar from grade 9 from Hiranandani Foundation School International. So my question to you is, what all have you incorporated into your life? What changes have you made so that you could, what have you done so that your carbon footprint could get reduced?
Yeah.
Right. So these are some very interesting questions. If I'd like to toss them to Mr. Bachchan right now. And of course, the children have also prepared an act which they would like to present.
Yeah, let me answer.
So would you like to see the act first, or do we have a reply from Mr. Bachchan?
Let me answer the question first. To answer the first one, where you asked whether technology and environment can coexist, yes, most certainly they can. And if you've been watching this program earlier on, we were speaking to the Minister of Atomic Energy and Space, and this was exactly one of the questions I asked him. You know, we're always accused that you're a nation that has atomic power, you have space stations, you have rockets flying up, you have missiles and all kinds of stuff, but you don't have the technology used for basic things. And can that be possible? And the minister said that this is a most valuable suggestion. And yes, there are technologies that can happen where using atomic energy or the science that is involved in space development can be used in cleaning up and making this nation a cleaner place. I asked a question for another gentleman. You know, we have the GPS system, and we are able to find out the location where we are driving to. It gives us the roads. It gives us the road map. It gives us, you know, alternatives of how to reach there. It gives us traffic conditions. It tells us how long it's going to take us to reach a particular destination, provided you feed in what you want in this app. But can there be an app, and in this app, can there be also a provision where the GPS can tell us where the next toilet is going to be? Because there are many times in big cities where there are traffic jams, particularly in Delhi and Mumbai, I've noticed, even in Bangalore. Once you get stuck in a traffic jam and you need to go to the washroom, you really have no options, and it's a huge problem. And I didn't mind confessing that at my age, you know, you need to go to the toilet quite often. And there have been many occasions when I've been stuck in traffic and I have had to need to go there urgently, and I've had to get out of the car and just, you know, slam my way into somebody's home and say, I need a toilet. I don't think I would like to do that. It's a little embarrassing for me and also embarrassing for the house that I walked into. But if there was a scientific system, and most certainly through this atomic energy and the science that is being developed there, there should be certain provisions for that. To answer the second question, where you said, what have you done personally? Well, you know, in your own house, that's the first place that you need to look after. So if you were to come to my place, you would find that each one of us is very conscious of the fact that we're not wanting to litter our compound. I introduced the idea of Mere 10 Gaz, which said that if you clean up just 10 yards around the area where you live, you can clean up the entire region that you're living in. And I try and propagate that. On our shooting schedules, when we are shooting outdoors, there was always this habit of really dirtying the place up. Now we have insisted that there must be trash cans where we shoot out in the outdoors, and make sure that we leave the location cleaner than how we got it when we got in there. Not only that, even in our studios, now there is huge provision where we shoot for any kind of garbage that is being generated there to put it into this garbage can and get rid of it. So these are some of the things that we are conscious of, and this is an answer to some of the questions that you asked.
Right, Mr. Bachchan. Thanks a lot for that response. I'm sure the children have got their answers. I don't know if we have the time for the skit which they have prepared, but if yes, then they have.
May I just come in again?
Yes.
Yeah, one of the very strong effects that I keep noticing, I don't know whether others notice it as well. When I drive in the streets of Mumbai, the boundary walls, or the walls that we come across, now contain messages of Clean India. Normally, and with all due respects, they used to have, you know, paintings or drawings of somebody trying to sell something. or political parties wanting to put up their slogans. But now you find almost every other wall that I've encountered, there is something to do with Clean India or Swachh Bharat. I think this is a wonderful sign.
Right, right. Thank you. Thanks a ton, Mr. Bachchan. Thank you for your response. And from the children also, they would like to, they would wish to thank you. I think that's the sort of
Electronic waste, you know, it's a use and throw world that we live in, and e-waste is going to become one of the biggest problems in the coming years. So if I can come across to you, Mr. Nitin, basically you've been advising the government in a big way on how to deal with waste, and you're in a looking forward kind of way, and what is the best way to deal with waste. So if you can really quickly kind of give us a picture on what that is.
So waste is a fairly complex problem. It needs to be looked at systemically. There are normally 5 layers that come into account. So there's the behavioral layer, how people like you and me behave, and there's a lot of work that all of us have done over the last 3 or 4 years. So that layer is sort of being worked on. But e-waste specifically and other waste streams which come together are actually, so there's a bunch of people on the supply side who manage this waste. They're very fragmented. Often there isn't enough value in the waste stream for there to be viable business model. So you see a lot of actually extremely hazardous e-waste work that happens very informally in multiple slums in urban and rural India. The third layer then is just the policy that the government has. Again, policy which flows down from in terms of the center and the state policy, and also how it gets acted through institutions at different levels. There's huge amounts of fragmentation because the field of e-waste is rapidly evolving. 10 years ago, we were thinking of e-waste only in terms of computers and mobile phones. But now, if you, the average car actually has much more electronics than the phone or a computer, right? So the boundaries of what needs to be regulated, etc. Those are.
That's Tamal on the guitars. Thank you so much.
You all go together, na?
Thank you.
Yeah, let the OB start.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
बॉस को स्वाति का माइक चालू करना, आप लोग नहीं देख रहे हैं?
ये अंदर से चालू करें, मैं इधर से चालू करते हैं.
On all the aspects that we've been talking about in Swachh Bharat, which is having a strong mind, being committed to the community, coming together as a community, making a difference. So that was great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So now we go across to Sonal Malhotra, who is at the Kali River, which is one of the most important tributaries into the Yamuna. So there's a big cleanup that's being organized at the Kali River, because as we know, the Yamuna is pretty much been declared a dead river for a really long time. Over 18,000 crores has been spent in its cleanup so far to really show no difference. But there's a group of people now at least working to try and clean up this tributary.
What I'm about to tell you now, many of you might find very hard to believe. Behind me, the cleanup operation that is on, and where it is on, is actually a tributary of River Ganga. This is River Kali, East Kali as it's called. It flows through a stretch of 500 kilometers, some say between 300 to 500 kilometers, across UP. This is currently on the banks of...
यहाँ पर businessmen हैं, काम करते हैं, लेकिन आज इतना इम्पोर्टेंट क्यों है कि आप यहाँ पर आके क्लीन अप ऑपरेशन चला रहे हैं?
बेसिकली मैम, हम लोग पिछले 108 सप्ताह से प्रत्येक रविवार को इस प्रकार के ऑपरेशंस एग्जीक्यूट करते हैं मेरठ में अलग-अलग जगहों पर. और अभी हमारे मित्र हैं रमन त्यागी जी, जो जिन्होंने इस सारे कार्यक्रम को आज संयोजित किया है. हम उनके इन्विटेशन पर इस नदी को साफ करने के लिए आए हैं. और
108 सप्ताह से कर रहे हैं
निरंतर, विदाउट एनी ब्रेक.
ओके,
हाँ.
तो कैसे टाइम निकालते हैं आप लोग अपनी डेली?
संडे मॉर्निंग, एवरी संडे मॉर्निंग. Every Sunday morning.
कितने घंटे के लिए कितने लोग आते हैं?
For 2 hours, we have 85 members in our team.
त्यागी जी, लोग ये बोलते हैं कि आज यहाँ पर मीडिया वाले आए हैं, कैमरा वाले आए हैं, बच्चन साहब सुन रहे हैं आपको, प्रधानमंत्री ने इसके बारे में बहुत बातचीत भी करी है, इसलिए आज तो सब आ गए. लेकिन क्या कल यहाँ रहेंगे?
ऐसा है, उतनी संख्या तो नहीं रह पाएगी, झूठ बोलने से कोई लाभ नहीं है. लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है नहीं रहेंगे. कुछ किसान भी आएंगे, कुछ और स्कूल के बच्चे आएंगे. आज ये हैं, कल कुछ कोई और आएंगे.
और इसमें सरकार से क्या मदद चाहते हैं आप? क्योंकि ये आप लोग जिस वेस्ट से डील कर रहे हैं, ये इंडस्ट्रियल वेस्ट है. इधर पूरी बेल्ट पे मेरठ, मुजफ्फरनगर, यहाँ पर कई सारी इंडस्ट्रीज बेस्ड है, जिनका पूरा अनट्रीटेड वेस्ट जो है सीधे यहाँ पर आता है.
देखिए, सरकार को 2 काम करने हैं. एक तो जो शहरों का और कस्बों का सीवरेज है जो इस नदी में जाता है, जिसका रोल है 70%. और जो इंडस्ट्रियल वेस्ट है उसका रोल है 30%। तो इन दोनों पे काम सरकार को करना है।
कनेक्शन हम बताने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं लोगों को कि सफाई का, स्वच्छता का आपकी हेल्थ से क्या रिलेशन है, वो लोगों को समझ में आ रहा है।
देखिए आजकल मीडिया के माध्यम से, प्रिंट मीडिया है, वैसी मीडिया भी है, और लोग आजकल पढ़ाई लिखाई का ज़माना है, सब लोग पढ़ रहे हैं, तो सब लोग समझते हैं कि मतलब क्या बीमारी होती है, तो उससे सफाई के लिए जरूरी है क्या करना।
So I think the good message over here is that people are very awake, very cautious and very mindful of the fact of what is going wrong. The good takeaway from here is they also know how to change it. And today at the end of the day, this 5-kilometer stretch would have been cleaned. Also the good part is that all these JCBs that you see here have been pulled in by private funds. So all these companies over here, entrepreneurs and businessmen, small businessmen like Anil over here have gotten together, given their money and decided to clean up. And if they can.
One of the biggest reasons for sickness and disease is a lack of hygiene really in India, and this is something we've been talking about even earlier. India has a vision of a malaria-free country by 2027 and to totally eliminate it by 2030. The number of dengue cases has really increased. I think we have one of the highest in the world, if I'm not mistaken, and it's going up every year. And also we have 100 million asymptomatic infections. I think it's Japanese encephalitis is another major problem. And the worst part is these diseases not only affect adults, but it really affects our children. And I think that kind of damages how they're going to present themselves in the future. To talk about this, we have various guests who I'll just introduce in a minute. We have a very special guest in our Delhi studio, Swami Chidanand, who's here. Sir, you know, speaking of this sort of thing and speaking of children and speaking of, you know, having this issue with hygiene and sanitation, it is wonderful that people like you with the global interfaith sort of come together and talk to all of us on how really to go about doing this swachhata in a proper way. As Dr. Roy had said earlier, I think a clean mind and having a vision and coming forward is really important, and people like you help a lot with that.
मुझे लगता है there is a grand plan and ground plan, and with the grand plan government can do many things, but the ground plan we all have to come together and bring people together, bring technologies together, and more important is our heart together. If our hearts are together, things are never impossible. आप देखिए ना, सवेरे से 9 बजे से लेकर रात 9 बजे तक बैठेंगे, दिल है तो ये सब हो रहा है। जहाँ दिल जुड़ जाता है, जान जुड़ जाती है, प्राण जुड़ जाते हैं, चीज़ें घटने लगती हैं। और हम देख रहे हैं कि इस आयु में भी, इस जवानी में भी अगर वे जुड़कर सबको प्रेरणा दे सकते हैं, हमारे आदरणीय इस सदी के महानायक श्री अमिताभ बच्चन जी की मैं बात कर रहा हूं कि यदि वे कर सकते हैं तो मुझे लगता है इस देश का हर जवान कर सकता है, उनसे प्रेरणा ले सकता है। इसके लिए एक बात। दूसरी बात ये कि अभी हमारे इमाम साहब को मैं देख रहा हूं कि वहां पर विराजमान है। हम दोनों मिलकर हम लोगों ने पक्का किया है कि किस तरह से मदरसा और गुरुकुल, मदरसा और मठ और आश्रम मिलकर काम कर सकते हैं। इसके लिए गुरुकुल के बच्चे और मदरसे के बच्चे, क्योंकि बच्चों से शुरुआत हो, ताकि क्योंकि इन्हीं बच्चों को ही आगे बन के इमाम बनना है, प्रीस्ट बनना है, गुरु बनना है। कोई विवेकानंद निकलेगा, कोई रामकृष्ण, कोई कुछ भी निकल सकता है। तो इन लोगों के अंदर पहले संस्कार भरे, मोहब्बत के, एकता के शुरू कैसे करें। इसके लिए हमने सोचा कि पहले ट्री प्लांटेशन हम लोग प्लान करें, और ट्री प्लांटेशन के साथ साथ फिर हम लोग धीरे धीरे जल को साफ करने का, जल को बचाने का, वाटर एजुकेशन का, वाटर अवेयरनेस का हम लोगों ने प्लान किया है। और मैं समझता हूँ इससे एक बहुत बड़ी शुरुआत होगी। दूसरी बात, मुझे ये लगता है, अभी मैं देख रहा था, अभी जब मैं पढ़ रहा था टीवी के ऊपर, कि हमारे देश के राष्ट्रपिता महात्मा गांधी जी ने कहा कि सैनिटेशन इज मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट देन पॉलिटिकल इंडिपेंडेंस। मुझे लगता है कि टाइम हैज कम फॉर ऑल द फेथ लीडर्स। जितने भी धर्म गुरु हैं उन सब के लिए एक समय आ गया है कि ऑल द फेथ लीडर्स, द सैनिटेशन एंड मेडिटेशन शुड गो टुगेदर। आई थिंक फॉर मी सैनिटेशन इज मेडिटेशन। और क्योंकि हमको अपनी पूजा करने से पहले, ध्यान करने से पहले भी सैनिटेशन होना बहुत जरूरी होता है। अब खुद को स्वच्छ रखना, खुद को पवित्र रखना, और हमारा खुद की पवित्रता जैसे है ऐसे हम अपने पानी की, हवा की, पृथ्वी की, आसपास की भी स्वच्छता रखें। इसके लिए हम लोगों ने ग्लोबल इंटरफेथ वाश अलायंस, जिसमें वाटर, सैनिटेशन और हाइजीन के इश्यूज को लेकर सभी धर्म गुरुओं को साथ लेकर पूरे भारत में हम लोग साथ साथ मुहिम बना रहे हैं। अभी कुंभ का मेला आ रहा है। कुंभ के मेले में हम सब लोगों ने सोचा कि सभी धर्म गुरुओं को साथ लेकर, साथ जोड़कर कुछ ऐसा मुहिम चलाएं कि वहां पर 150 मिलियन पीपल आर कमिंग। इट्स अमेजिंग। 15 करोड़ पीपल, जब इतने लोग आ रहे हैं वहां पर, तो अभी ये सोचा जा रहा है कि क्यों ना वहां पर सभी धर्म गुरुओं के साथ हम लोग 15-20 बड़े बड़े प्रोग्राम कर रहे हैं और उसमें इंटरफेथ प्रोग्राम भी कर रहे हैं ताकि और धर्म गुरु भी आ सकें। केवल हिंदू धर्म गुरुओं के साथ नहीं, सबको मिलाकर एक इंटरफेथ मेजर प्रोग्राम हो जिसमें अपने अपने, बल्कि मैं तो चाहूँगा ये एक दिन का प्रोग्राम वहाँ होना चाहिए जिससे कि पूरे देश के लोग जुड़े होंगे, पूरे संत वहाँ होंगे, पूरी धार्मिक जनता वहाँ होगी और एम्बियंस है और लोगों का माइंड सेट होगा। वहाँ से एक संदेश, पहली बात, पहला ये, हमारे देश में गंगा की समस्या सबके सामने है, उसके लिए कई सुझाव आज आए हैं। मैं केवल इतना कहना चाहूँगा, बिफोर वी हैव बाथ इन गंगा वी मस्ट गिव बाथ टू गंगा। इस समय आ गया है। गंगा के किनारों को जहाँ जहाँ, पहले तो कोई पॉलीथीन यूज ना करे और कोई पड़ा भी है तो स्नान करने से पहले, आचमन करने से पहले पॉलीथीन को उठाए, कचरे को उठाए, उसको एक किनारे रखे, फिर आचमन करे, फिर स्नान करे। मैं समझता हूँ वो उत्तम स्नान होगा। दूसरी बात, मुझे लगता है कि हम लोगों ने एक टेक्निक अभी जो बनाई है, उसके लिए जितने नाले जा रहे हैं गंगा जी में, उसके लिए एक ऋषिकेश में जो सबसे बड़ा नाला जा रहा था, 4.5 दिन के अंदर हम लोगों ने उसको मैन्युअली पहले टेस्ट किया, फिर मैकेनिकली किया, टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज़ किया, जियो ट्यूब टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज़ किया। और जियो ट्यूब टेक्नोलॉजी से, भारत की देसी पद्धति से, पहले डच मशीन को भी लाए, लेकिन जब उसको देखा कि ये तो भारत में भी हो सकता है, उस डच मशीन को एक तरफ रखते हुए हम लोगों ने कई यूनिट्स को बनाना तैयार कर दिया है ताकि कुंभ मेला से पहले भारत के यशस्वी और ऊर्जावान प्रधानमंत्री का ये
जी, sorry, I just want to bring in the other panelists into this discussion, to add to what you've been saying. Ambika, you've been following this whole thing on vector-borne diseases, hygiene, this whole issue of, and something as basic as hand washing, which can save lives. That's actually not a message that's gotten to too many people, which of course now we're trying to do a lot about. So, if you could say a little bit about that and then continue on with the discussion.
So washing, while hand washing is an integral part, we always talk about waterborne diseases. We talk about diarrhea, cholera, dysentery, but vector-borne diseases is something which we all overlook, and it's affecting many Indians, whether it's malaria, whether it's Japanese encephalitis or dengue. Dengue has literally, in fact, in 2016 there were over 1 lakh cases of dengue confirmed, which means if so many went over, maybe a couple of lakhs went undiagnosed. So that is a huge issue. Neeraj, would you like to take us through the vector-borne diseases? Neeraj is the country head from PATH.
Yeah, it's actually interesting because when we talk about Swachh Bharat, we normally think about diarrhea. We don't move beyond that. But the big collateral advantage that we are seeing with this whole movement is the fact that vector-borne diseases are a huge challenge in India. We are 89% of all malaria cases across Southeast Asia, largest number of dengue cases, and there's been a lot of work around curative solutions. There's been vaccines under development, etc. But actually the best preventive measure is a clean environment. So if we are able to have a clean environment, we will be able to ensure that there are no mosquito breeding sites and a lot of these vector-borne diseases could be managed.
Yes. And अगर हम इमाम जी अगर आपके पास आए, जैसे स्वामी जी ने कहा था कि ग्लोबल इंटरफेथ जो आप लोग का अलायंस है, इसमें आपने लिया है कि गुरुकुल और मदरसा में हम फोकस अगर बच्चों पे करें, बिकॉज दे आर द फ्यूचर, किस तरह बच्चों को अगर हम यंग एजुकेशन से हाइजीन करिकुलम के बारे मदरसाज में सिखाएं, गुरुकुल्स में सिखाएं, किस तरह का फ़र्क आ सकता है बच्चों की ज़िंदगी में और उसको कैसे आगे लेके जा सकते हैं?
देखिए, स्कूल हो या गुरुकुल हो या मदरसा हो, ये हमारे आने वाली जनरेशन्स हैं। इन बच्चों को अगर आज से हम ये बात बताना शुरू करेंगे तो आने वाले वक्त में इसका बहुत बड़ा फ़ायदा पहुँचेगा। हिंदुस्तान के अंदर 3.5 लाख मदरसे हैं, हिंदुस्तान के अंदर 5.5 लाख मस्जिदें हैं जिसका मैं चीफ इमाम हूँ। मैं अपनी कम्युनिटी का, मुझे याद है बहुत अच्छी तरह अमिताभ जी कि ये 20 साल पुरानी बात है कि टीबी हिंदुस्तान में बहुत ज़्यादा बड़े पैमाने पे थी। तो उस वक्त में प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने मुझसे कहा कि इमाम साहब आपको इसमें इन्वॉल्व होना चाहिए अवेयरनेस के लिए। तो हमारा उस टीवी के लिए जब हमने उस अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम को शुरू किया तो उसका बहुत बड़ा फ़ायदा पहुंचा। लेकिन अभी अभी मुझे इनसे ही मालूम हुआ कि पूरे दुनिया के अंदर जो टीबी की जो बीमारी है उस 25% हमारे भारत के अंदर है। आज बड़ा अफसोस हुआ मुझे सुनकर पहली मर्तबा। जहाँ तक अभी डायरिया का मसला है, अभी क्या है कि हम जब बच्चों के अंदर, ये मदरसों के अंदर हम इसको एक कैरिकुलम हमने शुरू करने जा रहे हैं, ख़ास तौर पे मदरसास के अंदर, कि हाथ धोकर, हैंड वॉश, उसके बाद हम खाना खाएं। अभी मुझे ये लगता है कि इसकी सब ज़रूरत मदरसे, गुरुकुल और स्कूलों के अंदर है। आज जिस तरह की जो बीमारियां हो रही हैं, वो इतनी बीमारियां बढ़ रही हैं, तो हम फेथ लीडर्स का एक इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल होता है हमेशा। फेथ लीडर्स की बात को लोग मानते हैं और फेथ लीडर इसका पर हम अपनी इबादतें करते हैं, ये भी बड़ी इबादत है। हम अपने अपने तौर पे पूजा पद्धति करें, सबको अधिकार है, लेकिन ये भी बड़ी इबादत है कि हम समाज के लिए, अपने इंसानों के लिए, सब भाइयों के लिए हम कुछ अच्छा कर सकें। पूरे हिंदुस्तान के अंदर अभी हमने ये मुहिम शुरू कर दी है कि जितने भी मदरसाज हैं, मदरसों के अंदर अभी जिस तरह स्वामी जी से भी बात हुई है, अभी तमाम पूरे मदरसों में हम पेड़ लगाने का प्रोग्राम शुरू कर रहे हैं। हमने एक कैरिकुलम शुरू किया है वॉश का, तो अभी हम इस पर बहुत बड़ा काम आगे करेंगे और हम सब मिलकर करेंगे, इसकी हम दुआ भी करेंगे।
और किस तरह हम सब एकजुट होकर भारत को स्वच्छ बना सकते हैं। अगर हम वेक्टर बॉर्न डिजीजेस की बात की, जैसे आपने भी बताया किस तरह, इंदिरा जी, व्हाई डोंट यू टेक अस थ्रू दैट इवन स्ट्रीट फूड हैज गॉट टू डू अ लॉट विद हाइजीन and health.
Just before I go to street food, because food safety is very important, and our respected Bachchan ji is a WHO ambassador for hepatitis, so that's a very important
for
thing.
both hepatitis and tuberculosis.
Yes,
इमाम साहब ने बात की tuberculosis की,
yes,
और बताया कि कितनी भारी संख्या में भारतवर्ष में ये होता है। देखिए, ये कहते हुए मुझे बिल्कुल शर्म नहीं आ रही कि आम तौर पर tuberculosis जैसी बीमारी जो है वो उन तबकों के लिए लगाई जाती है जो गरीब हैं या ऐसी परिस्थितियों में रहते हैं जो गंदगी से भरे हैं, या जो लोग ऊंचे स्तर पर रहते हैं वो कम है। ऊंचे लोगों को जो है वो कहते हैं ट्यूबरकुलोसिस होता नहीं। मुझे ये कहने में कोई भी डर नहीं है कि सन 2000 में मुझे ट्यूबरकुलोसिस हुआ, और मैं हमेशा जो भी हमने प्रचार किया ट्यूबरकुलोसिस का, हमने ये कहा, माफ़ी चाहता हूँ धृष्टता के लिए, अगर मुझे हो सकता है तो किसी को भी हो सकता है। और इसको बचाने के लिए अवेयरनेस जिसकी आपने बात की वो बहुत आवश्यक है। मेरे ट्यूबरकुलोसिस को चेक किया गया, उसके साथ इलाज हुआ, और आज अगर आपके सामने मैं खड़ा हूँ तो बिना ट्यूबरकुलोसिस के हूँ, ट्यूबरकुलोसिस से मुक्ति पा चुका हूँ मैं, क्योंकि वो अवेयरनेस की वजह से हुआ। बहुत से लोग ऐसे सोचते हैं कि ट्यूबरकुलोसिस हो गया, अब इनको कहीं पहाड़ वहाड़ में भेज दिया जाए, अलग हो दिया जाए। नहीं, इसका इलाज हो सकता है अगर उसको सही समय पर उसको जाँच कर दी जाए। हेपेटाइटिस का भी यही है, और माफ़ी चाहता हूँ क्योंकि मैं ही एक बहुत बड़ा उदाहरण है उसके लिए भी। 1982 में एक फिल्म में मैं शूटिंग कर रहा था, कूली, जिसमें मैं घायल हो गया। उस समय मुझे तकरीबन 60 बोतल खून की आवश्यकता पड़ी। 200 लोगों ने आकर के अपना रक्तदान किया उस समय। उनमें से एक प्राणी जो था वो हेपेटाइटिस बी वायरस कैरी कर रहा था, और जिसकी जांच नहीं हुई उस समय, वो मेरे शरीर के अंदर घुस गया। 2008 में जा कर के ऐसी एक जनरल हम गए थे चेकिंग अप के लिए, वो पता चला कि 75% मेरा लिवर जो है वो हेपेटाइटिस बी वायरस खा चुका है। अगर आज मैं आपके सामने बैठा हूं तो केवल 25%, ओनली 25% लिवर के साथ जीवित हूँ। लेकिन उसकी जांच हुई, उसको पकड़ा गया और दवाई वगैरह चल रही है। लेकिन उसका जांच होना बहुत आवश्यक है, जगह जगह जहाँ भी हो। जैसे डायबिटीज़ है, उसको अगर सही समय पर आप जांच नहीं करवाएंगे, इट्स अ साइलेंट किलर। You know, you can suddenly be sitting and just collapse. And I have had personal experiences of, people, friends of mine who've been perfectly healthy and fine, और बैठे बैठे बस गिर गए और पता चला कि उनको डायबिटीज़ था। So if you have it checked, and if you have a proper cure and a proper procedure done to cure it, you are able to live and survive. And I am one of these examples. I do programs for hepatitis B, I do programs for tuberculosis, and I only say this. I don't say anything else. मुझे हो सकता है, किसी को भी हो सकता है, लेकिन अगर सही वक्त पर उसकी जांच हो जाएगी तो उसका इलाज भी हो सकता है।
On that note, as Mr. Bachchan says, to find out, to be careful, to know, and then to be cured, that's the most important thing. We're going into a short break, and we'll be back with you.
plant a tree, take a video of it, send it to me. I'll post it on my Twitter, Facebook, and blog accounts.
Wow.
I think collectively, some of the numbers that we're looking at on my social media is close to 60 million. And even if
60 million?
Yeah. So even if, say, 1/3 of them follow what you just asked them to do, that's a huge amount of trees that are being planted.
So this is the NDTV Dettol Banega Swachh India campaign. We have some really special guests who are here to join us. Vipul Shah, Arjun Kapoor, Pariniti Chopra. Been busy with Namaste England, and now, of course, we're going to drag you in here to tell everyone to clean up all that kachra behind them. Sir, unfortunately, I'm looking behind me, and as the tide is coming in, you can see the plastic.
Yeah.
So we are throwing so much plastic into the ocean.
Yeah.
That
but I have to say, Vikram, that it's a lot more
better.
limited than I've been seeing in the past few years.
3-4 years
Because
ago.
when we came here in the morning, it was absolutely spotless.
Yeah.
And yes, when the tide comes in, it brings in whatever we've thrown into the sea. So here's a wonderful example. But I'm sure that by the evening, all this will be clean. And that goes a lot with the kind of programs that we've been doing and educating people.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people actually getting onto the beach, cleaning up, doing, you know, not just cleaning up, but they're able to have a healthy walk.
Yeah.
A lot of people coming out on the beach. It's become a good pastime. Previously, you didn't feel like going on to Juhu because it was so dirty. But it's wonderful to see this happening.
So she's been one of, I mean, I think I'm trying to count how many greenathons and cleanathons you've come for. But the message of plastic is starting to go across, I
Yes.
think. Slowly and steadily, it's less. Would you
Yeah.
feel that way?
I don't know. I think it's yes and no.
I actually am fortunate enough to spend a lot of time underwater because I scuba dive a lot. So I get to see the real state of the ocean literally from ground zero, if that's what I can call it. So I see the same sites that I visit every year. Within a few months, they are changing. You know, the same coral, the thing that keeps the earth going, the thing that gives life to the ocean is dying. But yes, I think the awareness is very important. For the worse, yes. I think I go to a site today and I go to the same site 6 months later and the entire reef is dead because it's changing so fast, and it's because the fish are drowning. It's so ironical, but they are drowning in water. It's so weird. And that's only because there was a lack of awareness. I have to say, I have to give credit where it's due. The awareness is increasing. The people across ages, across demographics are spreading the word. I can see people on roads pulling down the, you know, the screens of their car, the windows of their car, screaming at people, telling them not to litter. And that's so, so important because ultimately everything that we do ends up in the water and shows up on the beach. So it's so nice to see that people are literally standing up for their own lives, for their own planet.
You know, the point about plastic being at the bottom of the sea is a very important issue because it takes apparently hundreds of years for that plastic to actually melt.
Absolutely.
And you can imagine the amount of junk that is at the bottom of the oceans. It's going to take hundreds of years for that plastic.
It'll never be seen because it keeps flowing further in and further in.
So that's horrid,
Yeah, sir, one of the most scary things I've ever heard is the first piece of plastic that somebody ever threw away. That very first piece of plastic is still around right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's still around. It's cluttering up something right there. So that's really where the... Now, of course, they're cleaning up the oceans with that big garbage cleanup exercise, which is a major step. But, Arjun, when you're going, I mean, do you agree with her that when you go around, are you seeing less litter? Are you seeing fewer people throwing things, or is it as bad as ever?
At a very basic level, I would like to believe that people are getting more and more educated every day, and I feel we might not see it today, tomorrow, day after, but I feel when you start talking about it, the generation after us, we will be able to see a much bigger difference because it has to start from your childhood, the way you cultivate mindsets of kids. I do see kids who are more aware. I see a younger generation that's more aware. But when I travel across the country, I still see a lot of people still grappling with understanding what the big deal about plastic is because it's so embedded into their daily lives. It's so embedded into culture where they don't realize what harm this can cause, and it's also a mentality of humko farak nahi padta, we'll see when it happens. You know, that span is now reducing drastically. The effects are visible in front of us. So when you come here, when you speak about it, I'm very, very certain people are getting influenced, whether they like to believe or not. It's become a topic of discussion, and that eventually will lead to change.
Amitji, but what you were saying that, you know, people are now rolling down the window and stopping them. It's probably your example from the cleanathon, which was for every cleanathon you tell us this. It's a really, you know, the story of when he goes bent out and stops somebody.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've repeated it so often it's become stale, so I've got to look for another
but
thing
it's a really
to happen.
good story, so you should please tell it
But
again.
yeah, I think, you know, a lot of people actually, as you rightly said, put down the window and scream at people. Sometimes they get, you know, abused for it. Offended. And they say, why the heck, who the hell are you to tell me this?
Yeah.
But that's just the point I feel. You know, if the common man and we don't talk to them, and if they don't realize what is happening and which is wrong, don't look upon it as being, you know, shouted at or screamed at. They're doing it out of a good gesture, out of wanting things to improve. So yes, sometimes you may want to say, who the hell are you to tell me this? We are citizens of this country, and we are bothered about the state of the nation, and we are bothered about cleanliness, and therefore we are going to talk about it.
There's one thing I always feel, you know, the moment we take that flight and we land anywhere abroad, suddenly our manners are different. We never litter. We just can't see garbage anywhere. We appreciate the cleanliness of that country. Why don't we apply it in our own country? I always find that to be such a contradiction to who we are in our own country. But yes, like we keep saying, things are changing. Events like this, it's not a joke that we're sitting for 12 hours live on television, reaching out to people out there, telling them the same message again and again. It's the only way to, I think, ingrain something that you've not grown up with. You've not grown up with these ethics. We have to make a change, and for that we have to speak louder right now. So events like this really make a difference.
We need to lead by example.
वो जो हम विदेश जाते हैं, आपने कहा कि हमको दिखता है कि यहाँ सब साफ सुथरा है, यहाँ गंदगी नहीं करते हैं। उसका एक कारण ये भी मैं समझता हूँ हो सकता है कि कोई ऐसी स्थान या ऐसी जगह को आप देखें जो कि बहुत साफ सुथरी है, तो अपने आप डर लगता है वहाँ पर कुछ गंदगी फेंकने में। इसलिए अगर हम यहाँ भी अपने स्थान को साफ सुथरा रखें तो शायद हो सकता है कि हमारे लोग कहने यार इसको गंदा मत करो, अच्छी खासी साफ सुथरी है।
हम लोग we were shooting for Namaste England in Punjab. So the villages were spick and span, absolutely brilliant. But the moment you go outside village, there is almost a 500-meter stretch where all the garbage of the village is dumped. So our mentality is that we want to keep the house clean, but everything outside our house can be dirty. That doesn't bother us. So I think that needs to change. I mean, as you said that you stop, we also do it sometimes. And I always tell people कि अपने घर में भी ये करते हो, घर में कचरा फेंकते हो, नहीं फेंकते ना, तो यहाँ क्यों फेंक रहे हो? And they find it amusing. They said, ये घर थोड़ी है, यहाँ फेंक सकते हैं. This is the mindset. And that mindset needs to really change, because unless and until that mindset won't change, we'll continue to, हम घर से कुछ लेके निकलते हैं, खाते हुए और यूँ रास्ते पे छोड़ देते हैं. That's what is the problem.
You have to own every street, you have to own every corner, you have to own every other building that is not your home.
Yes.
And until you realize that, you will continue to pollute them.
But sometimes those farmers that we are talking about, you spend a lot of time in Punjab. Actually, I want to go across to Punjab because at least for the next 1 month, Punjab is going to be at the center of the entire attention of the nation is going to be there because of crop burning and possible stubble burning in Punjab and in Haryana. We just heard the Chief Minister of Punjab saying he thinks it's going to be much, much better this year because those special seeding machines have been spread and they will be really cracking the whip on anybody who doesn't do it. But Anjali Iswal is there in Gurdaspur, I think, in Punjab, and she's there with some of the farmers who are looking at it. Anjali, is there a change on the ground? So do you think this time that crop residue will not be burnt? Such an important question for the whole of North India.
Absolutely, Vikram, and we are in a village, the Shehzada Kala. This is just outside Amritsar. It comes within the Gurdaspur district, and I am with some extremely innovative farmers, some pioneers, some champions who have decided that they are not going to burn stubble anymore at all, and they've been doing it for a long time, and they're using technology for it. With me is Jasbir Singh. ये 9 साल से 10 साल हो गए, अब 10 साल से इन्होंने नहीं जलाया है पराली, जिसको हम कहते हैं या खूटी कहते हैं, इन्होंने बिल्कुल नहीं जलाई है. इनके साथ इनके दोस्त हैं, इन्होंने भी बिल्कुल नहीं जलाई और ये सब कसम खाने की अब ऐसा नहीं करेंगे. आपसे मैं जानना चाहती हूँ कि आपके अंदर 10 साल पहले जब ये बात भी नहीं होती थी कि पराली जला रहे हैं और दिल्ली में उससे प्रदूषण हो रहा है, तो आपने क्यों ये डिसीजन लिया?
बेसिकली जो हम जिस कॉन्सेप्ट को फॉलो करते हैं तो हम सोचते हैं उसमें एक जो सुबह उठते हैं हम प्रेयर करते हैं गॉड को, तो उसमें एक लाइन आती है कि पवन गुरु पानी पिता माता धरतम हत, वो जपजी साहब है बाबा नानक की. तो हमने वहाँ से एक मोटिवेशन मिला जब हमने पहली दफ़ा मशीन देखी, तो कि इसके साथ ही हम एक जो हवा है उसको साफ़ कर सकते हैं, पानी बचा सकते हैं और सोइल की जो कंडीशन है उसकी अच्छी कर सकते हैं, फर्टिलिटी इंक्रीज कर सकते हैं, बढ़ा सकते हैं.
लेकिन 10 साल पहले जब आपने बोला कि मैं खूंटी नहीं जलाऊंगा, हर कोई खूंटी जला रहा था, तब लोगों ने कहा नहीं कि ये क्या मशीन लेके आ गए हो, क्या कर रहे हो?
जब नया काम करता है कोई भी, रास्ते से हटकर नया रास्ता बनाना पड़ता तो मुश्किल आती है. तो जोक भी बनते हैं, मखौल भी करते हैं, कुछ तो बोलते हैं बावरा हो गया, वो तो बाबा नानक को भी बोला था. तो हम वरी नहीं करते इन चीज़ों को, क्योंकि जब रास्ता बनाना है तो हटकर काम करना पड़ता है.
बिल्कुल. एक छोटा सा यहाँ इनपुट में लेना चाहूँगी. टीएनसी के हमारे साथ डायरेक्टर प्रोग्राम है कुणाल. कुणाल, डू यू थिंक दिस इज गोइंग टू अफेक्ट द फैक्ट दैट दे आर नॉट गोइंग टू बी बर्निंग? इज इट गोइंग टू अफेक्ट द पोल्यूशन इन दिल्ली?
Yes, definitely. I think it's going to make a small difference. I think Delhi has a lot of sources of pollution. As gradually more and more farmers adopt a technology which is based on happy seeders, which requires them not to burn their rice residue. The amount of pollution that does then come into the Delhi airshed will go down. Right now, estimates suggest that about 25% of air pollution coming into Delhi in the winter months does come from agricultural residue burning. So if you think about it, if that 25% can be entirely cut out through the adoption of such technologies, then of course that will make a difference.
So let's hope. We are from Delhi and we are hoping that this time we're going to breathe a little bit more easy thanks to these farmers. Back to studio.
Thank you.
Yeah, ma'am, I just want to ask the gentleman that you were speaking to. A little while ago, we were speaking to Captain Amrinder Singh, the Honorable Chief Minister of Punjab, and he said that, last year there were several question marks on the burning of the roots. But this year he felt that there have been a change, and a lot of it has to do with some amount of incentive finance that came from the center, and they were able to distribute it to the farmers. But it was still not sufficient enough for it to be exercised amongst a larger area. What are the kind of expectations with the farmers as far as this is concerned? I know that the machines have been put, but they are still not enough and not adequate enough to take care of this problem. But in the time to come, do you think there can be a possibility of some change?
That's true, Mr. Bachchan. In fact, I'll bring in our innovative farmer, our pioneer here, क्योंकि आपको लगा क्या सब्सिडी जो दी है उससे सब कुछ सॉल्व हो जाता है, लेकिन क्या आपको उसमें दिक्कतें आती हैं इस मशीन के साथ इसको उसको लेकर के जमीन तक ले जाने के लिए? कुणाल, I'll quickly ask you this also, but
ये सब्सिडी जो है ये ठीक भी है, अच्छा काम भी है ये किया गवर्नमेंट ने, लेकिन इसकी जो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन है उसमें थोड़ी प्रॉब्लम रहती है, क्योंकि जो इसकी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग जो कंपनीज हैं उसमें भी थोड़ा जा रेट जो वेरी कर जाता है, जैसे कुछ मशीन्स अप्रूव्ड हैं।
सब्सिडी आप मुझे जो बता रहे थे, सब्सिडी का पूरा फायदा आप तक नहीं पहुंच पाता है जो किसान है उस तक, लेकिन कुणाल, व्हाट मिस्टर बच्चन वाज जस्ट सेइंग, व्हाट आर योर थॉट्स?
So I think it's a very strong signal that the central government has sent. I think there was a call last year by the state chief ministers that the center needs to help. The fact that the center has made available 1151 crores over 2 years for purchase of equipment like the happy seeders that can lead to situ utilization of crop residue is a very strong signal. I think there are structural problems where the subsidy is not really getting through as quickly, and there's some pricing issues, but I think it's a very strong signal. At the same time, just to solve the problem in Punjab, you need about 30,000 happy seeders. What is the current number? At the start of 2018, there was 1,000. This year, I think about 6,000 more will be added. And the subsidy is for 2 years. So clearly there's a long way to go still, but it's a great start, I would say. But clearly there are some issues at the ground level that need to be sorted out. And these are things that need to be worked upon.
So as you see, Mr. Bachchan, there is a start. In this particular village only, there are at least 7 farmers who are working with this technology, and many more are getting motivated by these farmers.
Thank you.
Right, Anjali, thank you so much for that. I think, sir, and maybe get everyone else in on this as well. We talk about the garbage and all on the road, but I think the decision we took a couple of years back in the Cleanathon to say, Mere 10 Gaz also extends to the air, it actually has coincided with the air pollution crisis. I think the media has almost done slight disservice by keeping on talking about it as a Delhi problem. Yeah. It is not a Delhi problem. It's a Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, 200 million people out there. The whole of northern India is actually affected. And other cities as well. We had, we were sitting in the morning, and actually the air pollution in Mumbai right now next to the sea is actually worse than in Delhi, which is quite scary.
Yeah.
So it's a...
For me personally, it's been a huge shift in the way I've seen my own hometown change. I've grown up in a very small town called Ambala, where we used to have distinct seasons. We used to have distinct uniforms, pertaining to that season. We had summer, we had winter, we had autumn, we had spring. And today, all of them have sort of become one. Even on 31st of December, it is warm, which was unheard of before. And that's all got to do with the fact that the air is clogged up, and it's changed so much. And I'm only 29 years old. I don't think that's that long a lifespan to see this kind of a shift in the climate. And Arjun and I, in fact, were shooting for a film in Delhi when the smog crisis happened last year. So I've actually seen a lot of northern India change so much, and it's so disheartening to see. I worry about my own kids. Like 15 years from now, I don't know what they are going to face in the world they are going to live in.
What is that? I mean, you went through that smog last year. It must have been a scary experience.
It was nerve because you can't breathe. You really can't breathe. It is, and it happened. It coincided. We were there in October last year. You feel the suffocation. So when people sit in their houses and are talking that North is polluted or Delhi is polluted, if you were there for even a day, you can feel. You feel it. And
we would come back home to the hotel with headaches, feeling nauseous.
When people say they're not well, and there is sickness coming in, it is because the weather is changing drastically. Like I think even at night we could feel a sense of how bad it was. We were shooting nights. People were falling sick on set. It was just not a healthy atmosphere. Imagine kids going to school, your kids waking up in the morning with that smog, you sending them to school, along with the millions of cars that we have. The millions of other issues that we're dealing with, and then to have the crops burning at that time. It's damn good to see that there is an understanding of it, the implementation, like they said, there are chinks in the armor. But awareness was important. Last year, it almost felt like people just ignored it. At least there is accountability coming in now and saying, okay, we've understood there is a huge issue and we need to tackle it ASAP. And I hope it's not only discussed today, I hope it's discussed on a daily basis and it is implemented sooner rather than later.
I mean, I think in North India now this is becoming almost regular subject. Last 2 years have been so bad that in a sense it's almost good that because it's been so bad, maybe it's going to draw people's attention into saying, oh, we better do something about it.
We always wake up when it becomes extreme. We don't want to wake up. I mean, one of the things that I've started doing is that all the people that work with us in the shooting unit, or my driver, or people that are working with us, I've decided that, I've started putting it in their mind that they can't they can't throw any garbage. And if I believe that if I can change 5 or 10 people individually, it will make a difference, because then those 5 or 10 people can do it to another 5 or 10 people, and slowly. But like in North, when we are driving early in the morning at 6 or 7, you can't actually see beyond 3 meters. You have to put your headlights on and you have to drive at a speed of 2.
Part of the country, and we can't see.
You have to drive at a speed of 2 and 3. And on camera, when we are shooting it as a film, it looks wow. It looks beautiful because it's misty and it's foggy and the sun is cutting through it and all. But we know it's very dangerous and it's very bad for your health.
Amitji, I mean, you've also spent a lot of time. Of course, you're from Allahabad, which is one of the areas that is affected by this. It's almost strange. North India, people used to often not like the monsoons, kichad and all of that, and love the winters. This is the best part. Now it's flipped. Monsoons are great because the air is
I think it's a wonderful thing that Parineeti said. That we had definite uniforms for different parts of the season. And in my younger days, it was a huge, a moment. when boxes for the garam kapda used to be open.
Exactly.
और रजाई को वहाँ धूप में रख रहे हैं, गर्म हो रहे हैं, जितने स्वेटर गर्म हो रहे हैं धूप में, अभी इसके पहनने का समय आ गया, अभी एक बार गर्म किया सब रख दिया क्योंकि कभी भी उसको पहनने पर जरूरत पड़ जाएगी. Okay. It's become like that.
But thank you all so much for joining us. All the best with Namaste England and everything else.
Namaste London.
Namaste London. Yeah, so looking forward to it, and we'll see where things. I'm glad that lots of movies are also starting to be made about social issues. So maybe it's going to make a big difference. Thank you so much for that. Right, Naina Lal Kidwai is joining us, Chair of the India Sanitation Coalition. Naina, you've done so much work in so many aspects of it. It's always a very tough challenge to try and do something about sanitation. Are we making any headway?
Vikram, the great news is we've made such huge headway that it is almost cause for celebration. I've been part of 4 days of deliberations here in Delhi, where there is so much celebration around what India is achieving in the rural space. We have ministers here from all over the world, ministers of environment and sanitation, who are here to see and learn and discuss what it is that India has achieved in terms of rural sanitation. Of course, urban is still a long journey, and I would love to have people like yourselves, this amazing program that NDTV runs, Amitabh Bachchanji's voice, and everything that Reckitt Benckiser is representing through the Cleanathon, to begin to ask, each one of us as citizens should be asking, do we know where the shit goes? So yes, we've had success in toilets. Yes, we're beginning to use them with the behavior change, but we need to make sure that what is being funneled into the toilets is being treated properly. Because if it's going right back into the environment which it originally went into, only funnel the shit into a toilet to go back where it came from, rather than to have treated it.
Here is solid waste management, but I have with me few people who've been dedicated nannies, and today they are here to take a pledge.
सिर्फ कचरा फेंकना न मेरी जिम्मेदारी हो, उसके में मेरा योगदान हो। मेरा विश्वास है कि एक स्वच्छ और स्वस्थ समाज से ही विकसित भारत का निर्माण। शपथ लेती हूँ कि मैं अपने पर्यावरण को साफ रखूंगी।
As plant nearby, 50 tons of waste are produced every day, but they have already tried to make a change, and the change has just begun.
Right, great to see so many people starting to really get involved. Now, Amit ji, one of our favorite moments.
स्कूल के बच्चों से बात कर रहे थे, उन्होंने कहा कि किस तरह उनका योगदान रहा है स्वच्छ भारत की ओर। कुछ एक बात जो निकली कि प्लास्टिक को किस तरह रोका जाए, क्योंकि उससे जो है प्रदूषण बढ़ता है। और उन्होंने कहा कि प्लास्टिक तो एक तो हमारे महाराष्ट्र में पूरी तरह से बैन हो गया है, लेकिन कई एक अभियान भी हमने अभी शुरू किए हैं, जहां पर माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की ही ये एक देन है कि उन्होंने कहा था कि प्लास्टिक में हम आमतौर पर जाते हैं सब्जी वगैरह खरीदने तो प्लास्टिक में आ जाता है। उन्होंने कहा कि प्लास्टिक को बंद कर दिया जाए और कपड़े की थैली में लाया जाए, और वो कपड़ा जो है वो खादी से बने। तो इससे क्या हो रहा है कि दो चीज़ें हो रही हैं, एक तो प्लास्टिक बंद हो रहा है, दूसरा ये कि जो खादी उद्योग है उन लोग को प्राथमिकता मिल रही है।
जी रघुबर दास जी, उस पर अगर कुछ कहना
तो हम लोग हेलो
हाँ
हम लोग ऑलरेडी प्लास्टिक एक वर्ष पहले बंद कर दिए हैं, और ये जो अमिताभ बच्चन जी सुझाव दे रहे हैं, हम स्वयं सहायता समूह महिला को ये खादी के कपड़े से थैला बनाकर वो देने का काम भी हम लोग कर रहे हैं। अमिताभ बच्चन जी का काफी सुझाव अच्छे हैं, इससे रोजगार के अवसर भी लोगों को मिलेंगे।
जी रघुबर दास जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, आप हमारे साथ थे। Amit ji, we can maybe just go across to Hiranandani Foundation School. Richa Rakhira is there. Tree planting drive taking place there. And we did say all through the day we're going to keep going to all the locations where people are stepping forward to try and plant trees. So Richa, over to you at the Hiranandani Foundation School.
Right, Vikram, and as you said, I'm at the Hiranandani.
What I said earlier on was every time you plant a tree, I can talk without this. Every time you plant a tree, give it a name. Give it a name, give that plant a name. So when you converse with your friends, अरे यार वो अशोक को पानी डाला कि नहीं, कितना बड़ा हुआ अशोक, कितने साल हो गए अशोक को बढ़ते हुए, आज तो अशोक फल फूल रहा है यार. You know, suddenly from a plant you made him into an individual. and somehow you relate better with individuals. That's what I thought would be a wonderful idea.
Absolutely. It's a perfect idea. Plant a tree, grow up with a tree, and you know, I can't tell you what it actually might end up meaning in your life. So
और अशोक से पूछना चाहिए और कितने दोस्त बनाए तुमने? तो और भी planters हो सकते हैं वहाँ पर.
Right. All right, time for us.